Hello friends, welcome to Study IQ. Today we are going to talk about a very interesting case study of the Mulla Periyar Dam. Recently, a writ petition has been filed in the Supreme Court where the petitioner has sought direction to the state of Kerala to terminate the 1886 lease agreement. Now we'll try to understand why exactly this situation has arisen. Now in this particular discussion, we'll talk about the Mulla Periyar Dam and a very famous case related to it, because see, Mulla Periyar Dam is a classic case study where a dam has been leased out by one state to another state for 999 years. Yes, you heard me right, 999 years. So let's talk about this very interesting Mulla Periyar case and get the details of it and come to the conclusion at the end what exactly is happening, because the Supreme Court has now sent notices to the central government, to the state government of Kerala as well as the state government of Tamil Nadu to respond to this particular writ petition. So let's talk about this and understand the entire issue. But before we begin our discussion, I am your friend Rahul Saigaonkar, and if you want to follow me, you can follow me on the ID Rahul Sai 222. If you have any doubts, any queries, you can directly message me on Instagram. I do reply on weekends. And if you're preparing for UPSC Civil Services examination, we have a great news for you. We have a smart course which includes both prelims as well as mains. And you know that the prelims is coming in June. And if you're facing problems, we have a prelims test series where we are providing 40 tests. There are sectional tests, there are full length tests, there is everything available. Just visit studyiq.com or just download our app from Google Play Store and get more information. And remember, do not forget to subscribe to Study IQ. Right, let's begin our discussion. Let's try to understand what has happened. See, recently in the Supreme Court, a writ petition has been filed by one of the NGOs, and looking into that petition, Supreme Court has sent notices to the central government, to the state government of Kerala as well as Tamil Nadu over the Mulla Periyar's lease agreement issue. Now, Supreme Court has said that the petition seeking cancellation, it is going to be taken up on April 22, 2021. So we'll continuously follow this particular development and give you updates as and when they happen. But right now we need to understand this entire issue of Mulla Periyar, because Mulla Periyar Supervising Committee is also involved. So we need to understand the nitty-gritties of Mulla Periyar Dam, the problems, because it's a classic case study of federalism. We know that in India there is a competitive federalism as well as a cooperative federalism, a cooperative as well as competitive federal setup where center competes with state, the states compete among themselves. Now here, two states are involved, the central government is involved. And if we talk about the constitutional measures, we do understand that under Article 262, there is a provision of interstate water dispute where the central government is a main party which will be responsible for setting up an interstate water dispute tribunal. Now here, it's a very interesting case study. Let's first try to understand about Mulla Periyar. See, I've given the heading here 999 blunder. Now, the reason behind this was because this was in news for quite some time. I would say it has been in news for quite some decades now. There was a movie which was released in 2011 known as Dam 999, right, which gained a lot of attention. There was a lot of controversy surrounding this, although the movie has been dedicated for the people who have lost lives in the dam incident, catastrophes connected to dam. But please remember, this movie had nothing to do with Mulla Periyar. But despite that, in 2011, this particular movie was banned by the Tamil Nadu government, which cited that Dam 999, it is a movie connected to Mulla Periyar Dam. Right. So let's first understand this Mulla Periyar Dam. Remember, this Mulla Periyar Dam is situated on the Periyar River, which originates in the Western Ghats and eventually flows through Kerala and drains into Arabian Sea. So please remember that Periyar Dam drains in the Arabian Sea. Now what happened here? In 1895, the Mulla Periyar Dam was built now by Madras state. Now we all know during the British time, there were provinces, there were princely states, correct? Now if we look at the current Madras and current Kerala, Madras was a province of British and Kerala was the princely state of Travancore. So the British government constructed a dam here on the Periyar River, that is the Mulla Periyar Dam, and they signed an agreement with the princely state of Travancore, where in the current Kerala, the dam is situated. It is situated in Kerala. Please remember that the Mulla Periyar Dam, it is in the state of Kerala. It has been leased out to the state of Madras, erstwhile Madras, now it is Tamil Nadu, for 999 years. Please remember this, for 999 years. Now, what happened after this? Now, please remember, this Mullaperiyar Dam, it is located somewhere here. And the Periyar River, it flows from this direction and eventually drains into the Arabian Sea. Remember, this Periyar River, it passes through the city of Kochi, a very important city in the state of Kerala. Now, there is a lot of complication around this Mullaperiyar Dam. The dam is situated in Kerala. It has been leased out to Tamil Nadu. Now, Tamil Nadu operates the waters around this. It uses the waters to divert it from Kerala into Tamil Nadu, into these districts, right? These districts which have been highlighted: Theni, Madurai, Sivaganga, Dindigul, Ramanathapuram, right? So we know that water is being diverted here, electricity is being produced. But the problem area now is that Mullaperiyar Dam, which was constructed way back in 1895, it is an old dam, an earthen dam, again a gravity dam. But downstream, there is a new dam which has been constructed by Kerala. It is the Idukki Dam. Right? It is the biggest gravitational dam. And water flows from this side, and I told you eventually drains into the Arabian Sea. The problem has now arisen in front of Idukki Dam also. Imagine if the Mullaperiyar Dam, which was constructed way back in 1895, the dam fails. The water will move from here to Idukki, and if Idukki fails, it is estimated that about 3 million people in Kerala will be affected and the entire city of Kochi will be affected. So it's the problem of a humanitarian crisis, it's a problem of a disaster, and it's a problem of livelihood of Tamil Nadu people living in these districts. Now, from Mullaperiyar Dam, the water is mainly diverted into reservoirs into the drought-prone areas of Madurai, Theni, Sivaganga, Ramanathapuram and Dindigul. I told you this. Every year, on an average, the state of Tamil Nadu, which operates the Mullaperiyar Dam, it diverts about 606 million cubic meters of water to irrigate about 70,000 hectares of Tamil Nadu land, which eventually helps the Tamil Nadu farmers. And apart from that, although there's nothing mentioned in the lease agreement that electricity would be produced, but 140 megawatt of electricity is also produced by state of Tamil Nadu. Now, let me tell you the concept of lease. Now, you do know that whenever you take a property on lease, you have to pay something, right? So, initially, when British signed the deal, the rent was rupees 5 per acre, right? So, approximately everything was around 40,000 rupees per year. So, the state of Madras or the province of Madras at that time, it used to pay 40,000 rupees to the princely state of Travancore. Now, the question arises, sir, when the state reorganization happened, why did Kerala continue with this agreement? See, state of Kerala continue with this particular lease agreement and the lease amount was increased, and even now if you check the lease amount, approximately 9 to 10 lakh per year is paid by Tamil Nadu to state of Kerala, right? It includes the electricity generated also, which has been added through new clauses here. So lease agreement still continues because the matter till at least 1970s, because till 1970s there was no demand for renewal. In fact, if I talk about state reorganization, it happened in 1956. And at that time, the state of Kerala did not have any issues with this particular agreement. But the issues arose almost 80-85 years after this particular lease agreement. Till 1979, there was no problem. Everybody was happy. But in 1979, something happened. Now, first of all, there was an earthquake, below 5 Richter scale earthquake, but it did create a lot of problems and the dam developed some cracks and it started leaking. Now, this raised problems for the Kerala people because downstream people would be affected. The Periyar River flows through Kerala and eventually drains into Arabian Sea. The problem was for the Keralites. So, they demanded that we need dam to be repaired, or we need the lease agreement to be renewed, or we want something new, we want to construct a new dam, etc., etc. So, the problem started between the two states. And immediately in 1979, the Central Water Commission, it visited the dam. It saw that the situation of dam, some cracks have developed, and they asked Tamil Nadu government, who operate this particular dam, to reduce the water level to 41 meters. See, remember, the dam capacity is about 152 feet, right? And this has to be reduced now to 136 feet. That was highlighted by the Central Water Commission. The Central Water Commission also suggested that please repair the dam and then you continue storing the water for Tamil Nadu. Now, Tamil Nadu did it. Tamil Nadu did spend a lot of money. They spent about 26 crore for strengthening the dam. They constructed a 10-meter wide concrete backing for the dam. But there was a disagreement now between Tamil Nadu and Kerala. Kerala highlighted that Tamil Nadu has not strengthened the dam because of their patchwork rather. the masonry of the dam has been further damaged. Now here comes the problem. The problem is that the dam was constructed way back in 1895 and it was constructed using limestone and surki. Now people from civil engineering, they would obviously know what is surki, right? It was the construction material used in the early 18th, 19th century, right? 20th century also for that matter. It is basically burnt brick powder with a mixture of calcium oxide and sugar, right? And limestone is also mixed. Now, when I test the integrity of this particular material, so basically I'm testing the integrity of the dam. People have given different data for this. See, for instance, IIT Roorkee suggests that the dam's integrity has been compromised. That means the dam is weakening. But many other experts thus suggest that the dam is pretty fine and pretty healthy, not an issue. So what eventually happened? In 2000, an expert committee was constituted under the Central Water Commission. Representatives from Tamil Nadu also came, Kerala also came, and they studied the dam, and eventually they highlighted that the dam is quite fine, and they highlighted that the water level can be raised by 6 feet from 136 to 142 because it's a matter of livelihood for Tamil Nadu also. Although many representatives from Kerala were not happy, and after this, the Kerala government in 2006, they brought a new amendment, Kerala Irrigation and Water Conservation Amendment Act 2006, which highlighted that water in the Mulla Periyar Dam will not be increased beyond 136 feet. And it also designated the Mulla Periyar Dam as an endangered dam. Now, this happened unilaterally because you need to remember the dam is in Kerala. It is governed or it is operated by Tamil Nadu. Now, this particular law, it did apply to Mulla Periyar also. That means Tamil Nadu has to adhere by these rules and regulations or else they'll be breaking the law of Kerala, right? So, what eventually happened? Tamil Nadu approached the Supreme Court. Finally, the Supreme Court decided that this is a matter, interstate water dispute matter. Now, you must be thinking that, sir, Supreme Court is already out of this interstate water dispute because in Article 262, it is the domain of central government and the state governments to decide by themselves. But remember, people approach Supreme Court under different avenues, not under Article 262. They approach under Article 136, which is the special leave petition, or they approach under Article 21 or say violation of any fundamental right. Say I approach and I say that I am from Kerala, my life is being threatened because of Mulla Periyar Dam. I file a suit or a writ petition in Supreme Court. And many a times Supreme Court has entertained these. So under these provisions, what happened was Supreme Court in 2010, they constituted a 5-member empowered committee to study Mulla Periyar Dam, and it was mandated that the committee should give report within 6 months. And as usual, what happens in India? Delays do happen. So eventually, after 2 years, the empowered committee highlighted in the report that the dam is structurally and hydrologically safe, and Tamil Nadu can raise water level from 136 to 145 feet after carrying out certain repairs, right? Apart from that, the expert committee also suggested 2 alternatives. That one is that Kerala can construct a dam, although again this is not feasible enough. Then they said that repair can be done. So they went for the second approach for repairing, right? Now, for repairing thing, what is to be done? Now remember, let's first talk about the new dam scenario. Kerala also suggested that we are going to construct a new dam here like this. So if you talk about Mulla Periyar, see Mulla Periyar's height is about 53 meters, 152 feet, the full capacity. And downstream we have Idukki Dam here, which is only 36 kilometers away from Mulla Periyar Dam. And if this Mulla Periyar fails, the water reaches to Idukki in a very, very short time. And we all know the concept of water bombs, right? Water bombs or hydrological bombs because of these dams are way more powerful than even a nuclear bomb, right? This has been suggested by many experts. And imagine if this happens and the Idukki Dam breaks. Remember, in the normal course, the water from Idukki Dam reaches to the Arabian Sea in 45 minutes. So it traverses through the entire Kerala in just 45 minutes. So imagine if a dam bursts, what is going to happen? So many people would be affected. Even breaking of Mulla Periyar Dam, it is going to impact about 70,000 people in many villages in Kerala. And if Idukki fails, then it is going to affect millions of people, right? So a new dam construction was also proposed by Kerala, although this is still in the planning phase itself, right? But the second option from the expert or the empowered committee was that let's repair the dam. So for repair work, eventually Supreme Court constituted a supervising committee, meaning that now we are going to go for repair works. Who is going to repair? The one who is operating it. Because Tamil Nadu is operating it, they'll repair because it's a 125 years old dam. So let's repair it. Under this supervising committee, guidelines and regulations, Tamil Nadu has started repairing. Now, what happened that in 2018, the Central Water Commission, which has a mandate with the supervision committee also, what they did was they have given new guidelines for preparing operation and maintenance and manual for the dams. Now, under this, what they have directed the Tamil Nadu government is they have to construct an evacuation tunnel at a very low level. Now, this is just like a safety valve, meaning in case the Mullaperiyar dam fails, then the downstream people should not be affected. There should be some sort of evacuation channel through which the water should be diverted so that the downstream people are not affected. It's a humanitarian crisis. It is going to be a huge disaster if it fails. Now, they were simply instructed that please construct an evacuation tunnel in 2018. Now, in the last 2 years, Tamil Nadu has not taken any steps over this. No development over these maintenance work. Now, what happened in recent times? Let's come to the latest development and talk about this Suraksha Public Charitable Trust. Now, this is an NGO which first approached the supervising committee. In July 2020, they approached the supervising committee and they asked that you had told Tamil Nadu government to construct an evacuation tunnel. What is the progress of that work? There was no response. The Suraksha Public Charitable Trust was dismissed. Later on, this Suraksha Public Charitable Trust, they went to the state of Kerala. They approached this Kerala government and they asked the Kerala government that please construct a protection wall downstream to protect people of Kerala, which was recommended by the Geological Survey of India also. And there has been no progress on this also. In October 2020, again, the Suraksha Public Charitable Trust, it filed a writ petition with the Kerala High Court, where they asked the Kerala government to basically end this lease agreement, right? To terminate the lease deed, which was there for 999 years, and then start the construction of a protecting wall, which has been mandated by the Geological Survey of India. Now, there was nothing done on this also. The case was dismissed. Now, the Suraksha Public Charitable Trust, the petitioner has reached Supreme Court. Now, they have gone to the Supreme Court. They have now requested the Supreme Court to take cognizance of this matter and ask Kerala government to revoke this 1886 lease agreement if Tamil Nadu violated the directions issued by the Constitutional Bench. That is, in 2014, there was a supervising committee. The supervising committee is to oversee the works done by Tamil Nadu. If Tamil Nadu does not do the work, then terminate the agreement. That is what is argued in this writ petition. So, the writ petition highlights that there have been major lapses in part of the respective respondents, meaning state of Kerala is a respondent. They have not responded properly. The supervising committee has been criticized heavily by the petitioner, who suggested that the supervising committee is evading the responsibilities given by the Constitutional Bench. And question has been raised over the supervising committee. Questions have been raised over the intent of Tamil Nadu government over construction of the evacuation tunnel. So, all the parties have now been sent notices by the Supreme Court, and the matter will be heard in April 2021. So, this is the development as of now. So, a very, very interesting thing awaits us, because in April 2021, this curious case of Mullaperiyar Dam, it is going to be decided. And again, this is going to be a great test in front of our Supreme Court, the apex court, how it is going to balance the needs now. See, we all know that many people from Tamil Nadu depend on the waters of Mullaperiyar Dam, but if the dam is not repaired appropriately, properly, then it is going to affect the downstream people. It is going to affect the Idukki Dam. It is going to affect millions of people in Kerala eventually, and the city of Kochi also. So, how it is going to be dealt is going to be seen. Everybody's eyes will be on this, and we will cover this extensively. If any development comes over this, we'll bring it to you as soon as possible on Study IQ. That's it from my side as of now. Thank you very much. Jai Hind.